Hey y'all, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be talking about palettes that I am glad that I did not buy. I definitely have a tendency to fall into the hype of things. If I see that everyone is going crazy over a palette, there's a part of me that even if I don't even like the color story, I'm like, do I need that? Do I need to add that to my collection? So here are 10 instances where I somehow resisted that urge and I did not add these things to my collection, and looking back on it, I'm pretty damn happy I did not. But if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Linda, and I talk about cruelty-free makeup, skincare, hair care, beauty products, and I always want to help you decide whether or not these things are worth your money, whether they are drugstore priced or luxury high-end. I just want you to spend your money wisely. So if you're into that, please consider hitting that subscribe button, but also the notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. Also, if you think you've already hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, do a little double check, because I've been getting notices again from people saying that somehow they've been unsubscribed or that the notifications are no longer turned on and blah, 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 blah. The usual. So double check that, but let's get right into my list. I am going to scooch over and put up some pictures because I do not have any of these items. I am so curious to see how many of these are going to be controversial to you all, because these were all palettes that I consider to have gone viral. They went crazy. People went nuts for them. And I was just like, no, thank you. Gonna save my money. Thanks. Bye. The very first one I want to talk about is the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca palette. So at the time this came out, I was a hardcore Kat Von D stan, okay? I no longer choose to support Kat Von D, but at the time, I was so into literally every single thing the brand put out. They put out bright colors, bold colors, but they were also dark and a little bit spooky, and I was so into it. And then this palette came out, and I remember looking at this in person, and it was this big. Like, it was bigger than any of those massive Colourpop palettes. On top of that, the layout of the palette drove me insane. Now, I know it shouldn't matter, okay? I know the layout of a palette shouldn't matter. It should just be about the colors, right? But this whole clock design, I don't know what else to call it, with so much space in between all the colors. So not only did you have this massive packaging, but you had so much wasted space in the packaging, it could have easily been half the size. This could have been a compact palette almost. Now, yes, there were a lot of colors in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 24. There were 24 colors in this palette. I can't even believe it was that many. And yes, the color range was beautiful. It was a rainbow. There were mattes. There were shimmers. There were neutrals. There were bright, vibrant colors. But no. The palette packaging turned me off enough that, like, I don't know why I was kind of disgusted by this one. That sounds so aggressive. But really, this is one that I'm glad I did not add to my collection. I don't have room for that shit. That is just massive. No, thank you. Sticking along that same exact line was the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. And this one also went kind of viral because of, again, those bright colors, those mattes and shimmers mixed, and apparently the quality was decent. But, like, first of all, I did not like the color story. So on one side, you had these very cool toned, shimmery, I don't even know how to describe it. There's like purple and green and pink and silver. It was just kind of a mishmash of colors. And on the other side, you had these colors that seemed like they were supposed to be vibrant because you've got like a lime green in there, but everything just looked muted. And again, the packaging. I understand it's supposed to look like a cathedral window. It's supposed to be beautiful and lovely and da-da-da-da-da. But you had this awkward packaging that just doesn't fit neatly with the rest of the packages. This is, I'll be honest, the same reason why I have not yet purchased the Glamlight hamburger palette or the taco palette. Like, even if the quality is great, I want the packaging to just be easy to store as well. Like, I personally don't display my makeup. I just have it in my drawers, and I want it to be nice and neat and tidy, and these things are neither of that. So I did definitely pass on this palette. I don't regret it. Now, if you've been with my channel for even like a minute, you know that I am a huge, massive fan of Natasha Denona shadows. So every time a new palette comes out from Natasha Denona, I am like, yes, tell me all about it. And there was one that I feel like almost went more viral than any of them, and it is the one that I am the least interested in, and that is the Love palette. So the Love palette is various shades of pinks and purples and reds and blah, blah, blah. And I am just so beyond not into this color story because I do not like wearing pink eyeshadow personally. I don't wear purple that often, as much as I really do like it. I do like purple eyeshadows and I do like red eyeshadows once in a while, but pink is not my jam. And this one had, if you're going to look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4 shades that are definitely pink. Then you had like several burgundy shades, and I don't know, this one is just, the color story was so beyond not my vibe. And from the people that like it, they are obsessed with that palette. So if you have that palette, like, let people know down below the quality. Is it decent quality? Is it great quality? Because I've heard great things about it. But those pinks can go suck a bag of dicks. This next palette, okay, this is one that's on my list because when it started to be talked about and hyped up, I was so excited that before I had even seen it, I was like, I am buying that. I am buying the entire collection. It will be mine. This is one that I might put on display. I'm going to frame this. I'm going to have a spotlight shining on it and angels singing at all times. It is mine. And then the photos started coming out, and I have, to this date, never been more disappointed in a palette reveal, and that was the Urban Decay and Prince collection. I love Prince so much. I adore Prince. This palette, it's interesting because I feel like this went one of two ways with people. No, I'd say like, okay, I'd say 2/3 of the people felt one way, which is similar to how I felt, and the other third felt another way, and both sides felt very strongly. I am in the camp where I felt like this did not represent Prince at all. Obviously, I wanted some vibrant purples. I wanted just like vibrant boldness because Prince, yes, I know that Prince did not wear bold makeup all the time. I know that a lot of the makeup Prince himself wore was a little bit more neutral, maybe a little bit of sparkle. But if you're going to do a collection inspired by Prince, it should be bold and loud and unapologetic. And this was just so meh. But I do feel like there was a sector of people who were like, you know what, Prince, he wore kind of neutral makeup with a little sparkle to it, so this is perfect. But I just, when I see makeup inspired by something, like for example, if a collection is inspired by a movie, I want to see the colors that envelop that whole movie and everything the movie is about, rather than the makeup the characters wore in the movie. Like for example, what if they did like a Squid Games collaboration, okay? I would want to see the green from the suits. I would want to see the gold from the VIP masks. I would want to see the bright orange of the red light, green light girl's dress. I would want to see all that mixed in. I don't want to see the makeup that the characters were wearing because they weren't wearing makeup. You know what I mean? So the collection with Prince, it just really disappointed me so much, and I am so glad that I didn't buy it sight unseen. Whew, just went on a tangent. All right, this next one, I almost bought this. I really did. And then, I don't know, something about it just started turning me off. And when I saw the swatches and looks being done, I just was even more turned off. And that is literally any of the palettes so far by Rare Beauty. I want to love Rare Beauty because so many people are so obsessed with so many of their products, but these palettes, I can't explain what about them is just so boring to me. They're basic, they're boring, they're just blah. When I've seen swatches, they look so underwhelming at the same time too. Like there was this one palette with this vibrant lime green and the vibrant blue and a vibrant gold, and then you swatch them and it's like all shimmer with no base under it, so it just looks like nothing. I do want to try some Rare Beauty stuff someday, I do, and I did swatch these in store and was very unimpressed. So again, these were ones that I was almost thinking of just buying, just doing it because they became so viral. People were talking about them nonstop. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't because I just think that these would not get used. Here's the one where, as I always say, you're going to want to hover your finger over that unsubscribe button because there's a lot of you about to be pissed. I would say this is arguably one of the most viral palettes of all time. One of the ones that as soon as it came in stock, it went back out of stock. And then people would go crazy for it. People were paying double, triple the price. And then it would come back in stock and it would be gone again. And people were just going insane. And I just, no. And that's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Again, this color story with these light romantic pinks and these burgundies and these just like warm red pink shades is a hell no for me. It's a hell no for me. And to be honest, like, this was the point in Anastasia where I just felt like a lot of the shades were looking dusty. You know what I mean? They just weren't looking up to par. They weren't looking what I wanted them to be. And then when I saw the color story of this, I was like, yeah, no. But I will even admit there was a point when the hype almost got to me because everyone was like, this is the greatest palette of all time. Every magazine was calling it the greatest palette of all time. And I started getting this like little lemming in me that was like, do I need it? And I remember every single time I would go into Sephora or Ulta, every single time I would swatch the palette, hoping to fall in love with it. And I never did. I never did. So I know this is a big favorite of yours. I know you have just yelled at your screen, shaking your fist, telling me to get off your lawn. But you're going to have to deal because I did not buy it and I will not be buying this palette. The other one that might be easier for you all to understand, I hope, you might be on my side with this, was the Anastasia Subculture palette. This, okay. People were literally split 50-50 on this one, I feel like, because the color story did not appeal to me at all from day one because the colors were just so random. There was like the muted purpley pink, but then like a muted teal, a very muted yellow, but a shimmery yellow that didn't really have any base to it. It is the most random color story I've ever seen. It looks like Dust Bowl City. And then the quality was apparently so bad that people were raging over it. So there were definitely people that really, really loved this palette. There are people that I know that still to this day call it one of their favorite palettes of all time. No. This one was just such a big no for me from day one. But even though like it did go viral for different reasons, like I remember swatching it and going like, can I make this work? No, I could not and I will not. The next one is sort of, I was going to call it a cheat because I'm talking about two palettes in one that are completely different palettes. But this is both the first iteration and the second iteration of the Colourpop Hocus Pocus palettes. I know that so many of you love these palettes, like love them endlessly. And let me tell you, I am definitely a fan of the movie Hocus Pocus, okay? But for some reason, neither of these did anything for me. Again, I think my problem is that for the first one, the purpley one, what was it called? The Witching Hour. For the Witching Hour one, it looks muted. Again, I know I keep using that word, but the thing is, if you're going to put vibrant colors together, I want them to be vibrant. Otherwise, market it as like a pastel palette or as like a beginner friendly palette or what, I don't know. Just, I feel like they were trying to go for bold here and they just didn't hit that point. Now, I will say they did exactly what I was just talking about. They did the good part of what I was talking about with the Prince palette, where in the first one, they grabbed the colors of the witches' dresses and they grabbed, the colors of the book, and everything. It was good. It's good. I appreciate that they did that, but the color story just did nothing for me. And then for this second one that just came out, this one is definitely a lot prettier, but no. First of all, I want Colourpop to stop putting pressed glitters in palettes, okay? From my channel name, you can probably gather that I really do enjoy glitter, but I don't like a pressed glitter very much. I just don't. I either prefer a loose glitter or a gel formula, one where it's suspended in gel. But anyway, this palette just didn't have enough for me. It again has a lot of those pinky tones, which is not my vibe. This one doesn't say Hocus Pocus to me at all. At all. It's pretty. It's Halloween-y, I guess. But no, this one is just meh for me. I'm glad I didn't buy it. And the last one, I definitely saved this one to last for a reason because there's still a chance that I might buy this one. I go back and forth on either being gleeful, I did not buy it, and then being depressed, I did not buy it, okay? And that's the Melt Cosmetics 420 palette. I've heard the reviews, okay? I've heard the reviews, and every single review I've ever heard, and I'm talking every single one, has said that this palette, the quality is like terrible. Like it is dusty. It's not pigmented. It's patchy. I have not heard a single person say that they love the quality of this palette. But guys, do you see the color story? Do you see the color story? It's so pretty. It's so right up my alley. It is so hard for me to resist this one, especially when it goes on sale, which is pretty often. You know, Melt does sales themselves, and you can get this palette at Sephora, and the Sephora VIB sale is happening. But I know, I've heard the reviews. I've seen them, okay? I've seen them, but I still want it. But I'm not going to get it, okay? I'm not going to get it. It's not going to be added to my collection, or maybe it will. It could very well be added to my collection, but it won't be. But it might be. But it will probably be, but not be at all. So that's it. Those are 10 palettes where I am proud of myself that I did not fall into the hype that I am glad I don't have in my collection, because they are either absolute shite or they're just not for me. So I want you to tell me in the comments down below what palettes went viral maybe, but you're glad you don't have it in your collection at this point. Maybe you just didn't like the color story. Maybe you've heard bad things about it. Maybe even you did buy it and then returned it because it was such crap. Tell me all the details down below. I want to know all about it, but that is it. If you guys like this video, I would love if you give it a thumbs up. That really does help out my channel. I'm going to leave everything linked down below in case you want to walk that plank yourself and buy all these things that I just told you not to buy. But that's it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all GlitterFallout. And as always and forever, you are super freaking rock stars. I love you so much with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.